Welcome to my stream. I'm Greg. We're going to be doing some coding in Elm today. We're going to be adding animation to a drag and drop set of tabs from what I made last week on my stream. Those videos are up at YouTube. If you just search for my name, you should see the past progress we made, and I'll bootstrap us up to that knowledge pretty quick. So today, the other thing I wanted to mention and bring up again is that there's still a lot that can be done with tech and diversity. There's right now this week I'm especially down as there's been a lot of hate and other problems happening and feelings being validated in America right now. So it's been a rough week for friends and for other people that I interact with daily. And I think now, if any time, is the right time to get involved in making sure that more people, unlike you, are involved in your day-to-day, and so you can understand others. And a great way of doing that is either mentoring or trying to get a hiring committee, with your work focused on hiring people who are probably underrepresented in your workplace. Hackbright and 2040 both do mentoring programs. If you Google for Hackbright, they're an organization that does a 12-week camp for women specifically, and tries to get in 12 weeks engineers ready from all kinds of backgrounds, and they provide an ability for people around San Francisco who are involved in the engineering organizations like Twitter, Google, Zendesk for me, and allows us to mentor them and give them advice on how to interview better and how to solve problems. So you can read about their stories and what the experience has been like, both for people hiring Hackbright graduates and for the Hackbright students themselves. So I've had a really rewarding experience mentoring there, and I think that something like this can be started in any city on some smaller scale. It doesn't have to be a 12-week school, but even just hosting workshops or bridge events are really great. If you're familiar with bridge events, there's Rails Bridge is a great example of this, where there's some kind of rule about trying to focus on underrepresented groups and bringing them into a community, and with free workshops that are open source. And you can read about how effective this has been and how they've changed ratios. So that's specifically for women. And then Code 2040 is an organization focused on bringing in Black and Latino engineering talent. So this organization I know less about, and I still want to be involved with, as I said in past weeks on my stream, but have been quite busy lately, and I think I just need to go ahead and do it. So anyways, all these organizations I'm really proud of, from what I've heard of friends who have mentored for each of them and my own experience participating in bridge events and Hackbright. So I really recommend checking these things out in your free time. I think it's just becomes more important with every passing day that we don't have a better ratio in tech. So with that said, let's start coding some Elm, and hopefully these videos can help people who are just trying to get in and into coding and making UIs. Lower that barrier, hopefully, away from classrooms and a lot of money. So Elm draggable tabs. Let's see where we were last time. So I'm using the tool, I believe, Elm Live, so that I get some hot reloading CSS. So Elm Live is just an alias to Elm Make, which is what builds Elm files into JavaScript. And we're telling the output of it to go into a file called elm.js, and we're saying open up a browser window. All right, so this is where we were last time. We had something where we could reorder tabs via drag and drop. So I don't know how much I want to explain of what's been done, but I'll try to explain things as I go along. So my idea for what's going to happen in this stream is when I'm dragging this tab, it's really hard to tell which tab I'm dragging into. If I drop it here, does it mean it stays where it is? Or does it mean that it goes to tab 2? Right now I'm calculating it based on if my mouse is right at the edge. So if my mouse is right here, it's going to fall on the first tab, and if it crosses that boundary, it goes into tab 2. It goes over to the next one. So I'd like to animate something like a drop area that opens up as you get closer to it, and then goes away when you distance yourself from it. And so that's what we're going to work on today. So probably the best thing to start with would be, let's add a drop area based on, without any animation. We just add some kind of square here of a fixed size when you're over a certain edge between two tabs. So as soon as I pick up this tab and I bring it over this way, the drop area will be here, and then if I bring it over here, the drop area will be here. So let's go to where we view our view function for our different tabs. So right here we have a list of tabs, and we're viewing each one with these CSS classes, and that's what's giving us this blue and white tab selected class or not. So let's start with that and work with adding a drop area in this at the right position. So what we really need to know is there even a tab being dragged, right? So this drop area will only show up if the tab is being dragged. And the tab is being dragged, that's being kept track of up here in our model, maybe tab drag. So there might be a tab being dragged, there might not be. So if we go back to view tabs, let's close this down the side here. So let's do something where the children are going to be different. The children of this div are going to be different whether or not there is a tab being dragged. So model.tabDrag, we're going to feed that to maybe.map, meaning we're going to do this function from A to B to transform this list of tabs into a list with an insert area. These are tabs with an insert area. So we're getting the maybe from up here as second argument. And then this right here, what we really have is the drag state. So this is the drag state, or the tab drag is what we're calling it. And we want to view like the draggable tabs, but with an insert area where we can drop them off. And then we can define that as the helper function up here. So view draggable tabs with insert area. And it should probably take where the tab is being dragged right now, what the current position of the mouse is. So tab drag is a record, so we can open it up and destructure it, just grabbing whatever fields we want out of it. So let's just grab the current mouse position, and we'll pass that in here, just the current XY. And really, even from that XI record, we probably only need X right now. So with this, we have to think about we want the list of draggable tabs. So let's make a function for that. So draggable tabs Like these are the ones that have already been rendered. They're HTML. That's what this line is doing right here. Yeah, so this is where we apply View tab to grab either the selected tab or the normal tab along our list of tabs. And our list of tabs right now, if you're unfamiliar, is just this list of strings. So View draggable tabs with insert area is going to be a list of HTML as well, but it's going to be the list of tabs up until an insert area, which is a different piece of HTML, different view function, right? And then the rest of the tabs. So the easiest way I can think to do this is by taking each list. So like, let's say we did list.take, taking the first, I'm not sure which index we're at yet. Let's just try index 1 between the first and the second tab to start. So let's take up until draggable tabs. And then we want to concatenate that with some other list, and then we want to do list dot what is it? Drop. So we'll take away the first everything up till index 1 of draggable tabs. So now what we have is we have the whole list. Nothing's been changed. We're adding an empty list in the middle, but what we want in the empty list is the insert area. And so this X right here is what we'll use to determine where we're placing this insert area. So we could do this. The other way I can think of it is we could use list.concat. I kind of like this approach where we just define each list in here and they all get added together. So I'm not sure if there's any performance drawbacks to, like which one's faster, I have no idea. And I'd like to know if anyone does know. But I like how this reads. So I can visualize what's being created here. Cool. And then we still have to finish this down here. So now it's saying if there was a tab drag, do this view draggable tabs with insert area. So this function, this line of this code right now will be returning that list of draggable tabs with the insert area from up here. Unless it's nothing, unless tab drag is nothing, then it's just going to return nothing. So we obviously don't want to return nothing as a child to a div, so we need to have some kind of default. So what should the default be? Probably just what we were doing before, which was just the draggable tabs. All right, so let's see if that did something. Oh, there's a compile error, insert area. That's right. So we haven't even defined what insert area is yet. So let's make a view function for insert area. Let's define it up here for now. View insert area. Let's add a class. And what are properties about this thing? Probably just has some fixed height, and then we can start with an inline style for width, because we're going to make that changing when we animate, so it expands when we hover the tab over it. So if we did an inline style, we could do width, and right now we'll just hard code it though, like 20 pixels, I guess. Okay. Now we have, okay, compiled. So there you go. There is an insert area. Something showing up. Now it's only ever showing up at this position. So let's grab based on the current position, X position of the mouse. Let's figure out where this should go in, basically these numbers. So I think that it should work that the index here could just be our X position modulus the tab width, because I think the tab width is 100 or something, so 100 pixels. Let's say we're over like 130 pixels, then that just means we get a 30 remainder, and no, so it's not modulus I'm looking for divided by. So yeah, now let's say we have 130, it's divided by 100. It's an integer division, so it's going to round down, so it'll be 1. It'll go into it once, and so that'll be the position. So let's see if that is true. Yeah, okay. So now the area is moving with the tab. So cool. Even that, I think, helps a lot to making drag and drop better. This is a little annoying to type twice, though. And I think this is a little bit bad of an argument, especially if we wanted to make this a top-level thing. So let's just here, instead of giving it current, we only need that x divided by tab width. And so now we can just say this is the insert index. All right, insert index. Insert index. Okay. That seems to be a decent commit point. So we'll say we added, what did we add? Oh, an insert area based on drag position. Oh, and I committed a breaking thing. Terrible. Should have tested it. Let's see. Oh, so now it's saying, oh, because it's current, it's a record, so current.x is what we're looking for. All right, let's try that again. Oops, we broke it. Send current.x. All right, so now we should be back to good. Cool. So I think we had some kind of get error there. Sure why. Maybe I added a readme or something. Oh, I merged a pull request. Cool. And that is because we had someone in the chat room before. Not sure if he's still here right now, but pretty cool that he made a contribution. Check out what that was from last time as well. Draggable tabs. We had a PR because I was a bit confused about maybe and then and what I could do with it in the last session. So we kind of learned about that live. And so thanks to IR4Y. Yeah, so before we still had to unpack maybe tab drag in our view dragging tab. In this one, we just put that in the maybe and then with his PR. We also grabbed current, and then we just called maybe.map inside here. So that was pretty cool. And so I just pulled that into this code right now. So thanks again. Hey, Aaron. Welcome. And everyone should check out Aaron's stream. He's streaming like every day now for Codevember. It's pretty awesome. He's been making cool graphics stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Luke was trying this chat on screen, Aaron, and it seemed like it was nice to find out what the suggestions were. So, yeah, it seemed useful. If you have any opinions on that not being useful, though, I'd like to know it. It just seemed useful to see when people were suggesting and to give credit for people that have cool suggestions. All right, 17 seconds. Not entirely sure how to reduce my delay. The router is in the other room, so maybe I'll have to get another router or something. anyways, now that we've added a insert area to these tabs, let's start animating it. So there was a library I really wanted to try out called Elm Style Animation. So yeah, Tech Talk was given at ElmConf about this library, and maybe it's too much for us in terms of we could maybe just do this with some CSS classes in terms of just expanding our square, but I think the possibilities of like transforming the shape of a tab or other things would be pretty cool. So I'm going to try out this library here. So let's install that. Install, what is it? MD Elm Style Animation. Yes, I would like those packages, Elm. Cool. And then this should be rebuilding everything. Nice. So let's go to the top and import animation, I believe it's called. Yeah. And so we have some, what he's saying is to get started, there's a couple things. We set an initial style in our model. Okay, so the style that we want here is the style for this insert area. So let's call that something reasonable, like insert area style. And I think that that's an animation state, actually. So maybe does style make as much sense? I mean, I guess everything's a style animation, so sure. Insert area style is animation state, and then insert area style. What it actually gets is an animation style that takes several different animation properties. So we don't care about left, don't really care about opacity right now. Let's find out what the other things are. So here's left, which takes a length and then gives a property. Okay, so these are animatable properties. Okay, cool. We want width. Yeah, we're going to be changing the width. So let's do animation.width, and that looks like it needs some length, which let's find out what functions return length. Units. Okay. So yeah, pixel percent. I believe we already defined a pixel in our page. No? Cool. Then let's exposing pixel, since we're going to be using it a lot. So we'll call pixel, and it takes a float. So looks like we're going to start with a width of 0, and we're going to expand it to maybe half a tab width. So go back to the README. We want to subscribe to that animation subscription. This will animate using animation frame when something's running, and stop giving updates when there is no animation. So we have some subscriptions up here. Right now, our only subscription is either none, if there's no dragging, or when there is a drag, there's a batch here. So is this fall into both cases, or? Yeah, it seems like this animation subscription is only happening when we've started dragging. So we can just add it to this list. So animation.subscription, and we got, so he's calling it animate. I'm guessing it's going to be animate. It's a message in our, we can type for message for our app updates. So animate insert area, or what's really happened is it's expanding. So expand insert area. Well, expand or grow. Maybe it's growing. So grow insert area. And we need to pass it a list, it seems, with the things we want to update in it. Okay, so maybe model dot, in his case he named it style, we named it insert area style. Cool. And then we want to set up a message. Grow insert area, and it looks like it takes some animation message. So animation.message. So grow insert area. He's calling it animation anim message for short. We're going to say model. Where the insert area style is equal to animation. So animation has a function at the top level called update, and it's taking one of its messages, and it's just updating in our model the style that we stored in it, the animation style. So model.insert area style. This is a pretty standard hookup if you're putting a third-party thing into your app that has its own messages and update that's opaque to you. But you're explicitly setting it up here to update something that is now in your data structure, your model. All right, so render our animation at the necessary element in our view. Not all of the animate properties are style properties, SVG and polygon points. Okay, so instead of taking, instead of it just being a single attribute here where we could put this line in here, or sorry, in this list, the list of attributes, it is its own list because of these two properties. Okay. So let's figure out where our insert area is. View insert area. And we're going to start with animation.render model.insert area style. And then we're going to concatenate that list with our list of attributes. And thank you all in format. And so we need our model still. So let's pass in our model here in the view insert area. Pass in model, which we're getting from scoping right up here. So now we don't have I think we have another thing to do. We have to add what it's going to grow to, like when it's going to start growing. So we have to start animation, yeah. In this case, he's calling the show. As an example, let's start the animation on, I guess, when you get close to the tab. But for now, let's just see that it's happening by doing it in drag tab start. So once I start updating multiple fields on my model, I like to make these into functions so it reads like this. So let's start making those into functions real quick as setup. So this, to me, makes more sense as it gets more complicated. So let's call this start tab drag. And I'll take tab index and a starting position. And we'll actually just keep it as XY. This is going to be both the start and the current. Okay, so we have model. We're going to pass that to start tab drag with those two. And now we want to also grow. Yeah. So this is grow insert area. Maybe it's better to just, this is just the message that's happening when it's growing. So maybe we want to keep this named as like animate. Animates. Yeah, because it'd be nice to distinguish what's coming from the library and what's starting the animation. So how about animates insert area? And change this. So now we'll say grow insert area as a function. Grow insert area. I don't know what else I need to pass it besides the model. And we're going to say the model where insert area style equals, we're going to set it to a new style here. So let's do a let expression. Okay, so there's some things I don't recognize, like animation.interrupt and animation.to, so let's read about those. So we can either queue or interrupt. Both take a list of steps, and that describes what the strategy should be. You're trying to animate is already in process of being animated. You either want to interrupt what you're doing or do this new animation. Or you want to queue up the new animation to run after the current animation is finished. Oh, cool. So, all right, he says that 90% of the time we want to interrupt. So steps can be to animate to a target style, set an animation to a style immediately. We don't want this. We don't want to wait. Right now, we don't want to wait. We don't want to repeat anything. We don't want to loop. So, yeah, let's use animation interrupt. Let's follow this example pretty closely. So, new animation style. Let's fill this thing out. So animation dot interrupt, and that'll take a list of things to do, and we want to animate to a target style. Animation dot to, and okay, so we were doing with, I believe. So animation dot with, and we'll give it a new. How about we do half the tab width? So tab width divided by 2. All right, and this also gets a model up here. What's the problem now? Animation length, but it's string. So I think maybe there is a pixel function we define. So we do have a pixel function defined here for these. So let's right now just this is nice. It's a nice cleanup to not have to do. So I'm trying to think of what we should do. I don't really want to do animation dot pixel. We could pull this in if it's only being used here. And now we can scope it locally. Another issue. Looks like we didn't add all the arguments. Oh, we didn't add all the arguments to that function. So this right here, interrupt, takes a second argument, which is the actual style. So insert area style. And now we just have issues with not throwing R. They're just warnings on not adding type annotations. So now it grows. Okay, I didn't really see that growth. So I wonder why that is. We start at 0. Is there anything else we need to do here? I believe not. I wonder if doing it only when there's tab drag is at all of an issue. Or do we even ever start? So grow insert area. So new insert area style. Let's format this according to what he did it, so I can better read it. And all right. Let's just do tab width right now. Maybe we can get bigger. Maybe we can just, maybe it's happening too fast and we can't see it. Something, let me see here. And insert area style. Oh, we're setting a hard width. That would definitely be overriding that. So let's get rid of that. There we go. We got an animation. So it only runs once since we never restart the animation. So let's restart it real quick. On tab drag end. So let's do reset drag animation, or reset insert area. What do we call it? Yeah, this is fine. Let's go to model. We just want to set that back to insert area style equals, let's have an initial one, init insert area style. We don't have this yet, but we can go define that up here with our initializers, and that's what this can be. Insert area style. Okay, cool. So now, yeah, expanded. Sweet. Yeah, maybe full tab width does make some sense. Awesome. I hope everyone can see that. Let me zoom in a bit. Cool. So let's commit at that point. So we have our insert area. It is animating. And then we have to think about what else we can do to make these more fun. I think I had a README, well, we did the preview of the drop zone. We said we would like to delay the drag on mouse down for a certain number of seconds, because right now you can't ever select another tab. It just starts dragging immediately. That might be a good one to do next. And then we did do the animation. So, but there's so much more we can do with animation. This one's pretty dull, so I won't actually check this off. Maybe we should make some other subpoints here. So animate the insert area. Sure, we did that. Maybe we should animate the tab itself, like when it comes up, giving some box shadow, or maybe changing the size, maybe both. So let's do that, because I want to play with this animation library more. So animate the tab, animate the dragging tab. Yeah, let's do that next. So now we kind of have the story of how this works with Elm animation style animation. So let's go through all the same steps that we just did. So it looks like we would need a new subscription. And this one will be for the message type animate dragging tab. This will be dragging tab style. The other thing I'm curious about is, should this live on tab drag model, this thing here, since this could be animating when it's off screen than if a tab drag's not there. But let's just start with it being in our model. I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not. We can always move it later. So we have the subscription. We'll add dragging tab style. It's another animation state. I do wonder if subscriptions, he probably has some examples. I wonder if we should be making separate subscriptions, or if there's a reason that he has a list here. So let's see. He had examples in his README. Rotating gears is probably got some multiple subscriptions. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so he's actually grouping it all into one message type, which I think makes a lot of sense. Cool, let's do that. So let's just call animate. Yeah, I like this more. So let's I want to see also is he adding a new state for each one? Probably he has multiple styles, right? Yeah, okay, he has multiple animation states. So let's see what he did with animate. Okay, yeah, so he's just updating each one. So let's do that. So area. Okay, let's do this right here. And then we'll also have a dragging tab style. And do this same thing, dragging tab style. Yeah, this is like awesome. Dragging tab style, So yeah, he's updating multiple ones, insert area style. It's insert area style. Okay. And we still need another dragging tab style up here. We'll make an initial one again so we can reset it. So I'm going to dragging tab style. Animation style. We'll set the initial style for it. It should be, what properties do we care about animating for this one? We probably want the box shadow is what I was talking about. So let's see if we can do that. Okay, there's shadow. Cool. So we have a type shadow, but I don't know what shadow is. Maybe he's not exposing the type, which stinks, but if it's a record, we could find out from the compiler, or we could look at an example of his. So let's definitely tab and look for shadow. I bet you one of his demos is using shadow. Let's see this showcase. Ooh, that'd be fun. Rotating. Okay. Changing colors. Fading in and fading out. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want. So, have a shadow. Let's look at that code. All right. Let's say this is it. Animation.shadow. Let's copy paste this over here to see what this looks like. So we have some offset we're animating to. But we're going to start with 0 offset. We'll start with 0 both of those. And yeah, we'll have like no blur to start. And we'll have, I guess we'll keep the same color for the shadow the whole time. And then we have to have some sort of, where we're going to plop this down, right, in our views. So we have a view dragging tab. Okay. So same deal here, we're going to do that. user, I believe it was, and animation. And dots. And now I can't remember what it was. Which tab? Under. Okay, yeah, we just pass it the model. So model.dragging tab style. And this returns a list of attributes. We concatenate it with this list. Cool. Modify model. All right, this needs model passed in as well. Or at least it needs this, but we'll just pass it model for now. So where's view dragging tab? So I mean by we don't need to pass in the full model is we could just do, why don't we just do this, yeah, model.dragging tab style. So now if we go back to view dragging tab, you can just do animation dot state, that's what that is. Dragging tab style. There we go. So now we have the view. Now we need something, an end animation state that comes in our update somewhere. So let's figure out what message we want to attach that to, or if we want to make a new one. So it seems like that tab should start animating to get more of a box shadow on the start. So this is why I liked adding those pipes. We should also say grow or emphasize dragging tab. So dragging tab gets the model, and we're going to want to do what we did just above here. So model where dragging tab style is equal to new dragging tab style. So new dragging tab style is going to be animation interrupt again, and we'll animate to the animation. It's the shadow thing, right? So let's look for that. An example. And then this is not imported. So RGBA is from the color module. This is a core Elm package, and we'll expose RGBA, and maybe we'll need RGB as well. So that should make that go away. Yep. And yeah, there's going to be errors because I didn't finish that function, so view dragging tab. Or not, it wasn't view dragging tab, it was one of our updates, emphasize. Yeah, okay. And we also need an argument here for model dots dragging tab style. Okay, and in here, let's change the offset to, I don't know, let's make it pop out a little bit on the X. Maybe it doesn't need to pop out at all. We just add maybe some blur. I don't know what size entails, but we can play with it. Okay, let's see if that does something for us. I don't know if, let's see if we're adding 15 in here or something. Or like, maybe 50 would be more noticeable. Let's see if that does anything. Oh, cool. Okay, so that's the offset for the actual shadow beneath it. Yeah, let's try like 10. Nice. Definitely feels like it's above the other tabs now. If you can't see it, let's zoom in a little bit. You should see a tab there. And we never reset it, so let's reset that. This exact function basically. So reset, put in tab animation, fix model where dragging tab style equals dragging tab style, or init dragging tab could actually call it somewhere. Drag end. Let's reset. There we go. Animate. Animate. Cool. All right, that feels pretty cool. I think that's a good place to commit. Then we updated, well, actually we did a little bit more. If we look at our README, we also animated our dragging tab now. So, maybe dragging tab.